Yo, this Friday, March 27th at noon Pacific time, we invite you to join the Black Window Cream livestream seminar featuring the creators behind the lens of Justin Bieber's latest visual album, Changes the Movement. This 16-video series features some of the biggest dancers and choreographers in the world and has amassed over 40+ million views on YouTube alone. And we're excited to announce that we'll be bringing in the key filmmakers who brought this vision to life. Director Nick DeMora, executive producer Miranda Sherman, producer Andrew Sandler, director of photography Taylor Randall, and production designer Francesca Maldonado. In this 4-hour live stream, we will get a deep behind-the-scenes look into how these filmmakers brought this series to life from start to finish. We will learn the inspiration behind the videos, the creative process that went into them, and the challenges they faced along the way. And as we've done in the past, you will be able to interact with each of our guests via video chat and ask questions live on screen. Click the link in the description so you can register now to save your seat. Make sure to act fast, and we will see you on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to attempt to do this entire intro in one take. Let's see how this goes. Welcome to the Quarantine and Chill edition of the Black with No Cream podcast. New episode every single Wednesday and Sunday. I'm your host, Ben Haggerty, aka Ben Real vs. World. How y'all doing? Today is Sunday. Now, if you're a longtime listener, you know that we drop really fire interviews every single Sunday. And we haven't missed a Sunday release for over a year, but this new coronavirus quarantine shit is really fucking everything up. We want to respect the laws put here in place in Los Angeles, California by the mayor to practice social distancing and stay the fuck inside. So for now, we're going to have to adapt and survive. Instead of doing an in-depth interview, I decided to call up some of my homies to weigh in on the current coronavirus and how it's affecting them in their creative lanes. First up, I spoke with Jeff and Eric, who are the host of the very well-known podcast, A Waste of Time with ItsTheReal. The podcast is one of my favorite personally, and they are incredible interviewers. Some of the guests that have been on their show include the Migos, coronavirus, and how it's affecting them, Ravy B, John Legend, Rick Ross, Cardi B, and many others. This is kind of fucking loud. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. We spoke on how they are adjusting the production of their podcast due to the quarantine, the power behind building relationships, and how creators are going to have to think outside of the box with these new limitations we all have to live by. I also spoke with past Black with No Cream podcast guest, VFX editor and director CacheBunny, who is best known for her creative social videos with celebrities like Will Smith or that music festival Coachella that we all want to go to all the time. We talked about how she is taking advantage of the free time to build her presets, how editors can find creative ways to repurpose old footage to showcase their talents to potential employers, and her interest in producing live streams on Twitch. And lastly, I spoke with another Black with No Cream podcast guest, director-writer Morgan Cooper. Best known for his Bel Air short film, as well as his YouTube video short film. We chopped it up about how he has taken advantage of this time to really focus on his writing for upcoming projects, how being really well, god damn it, I wanted to keep this thing going. Okay, I'm gonna hang in here, people. How being really good at listening is one of the best tools you can have growing as a fuck. You guys don't care. I'll just keep going. No one cares. We have so much time. Quarantine's providing us with so much time. God damn it. How being willing to listen is one of the best tools you can have to grow as a creator. And he also shares some amazing tips for anyone who's interested in becoming a writer. Each episode is about 20 minutes long, so sit back, relax, enjoy these conversations. And if you really want to support the Black with No Cream podcast, text a motherfucking link to this episode to someone that you think would really find it helpful to listen to. And that helps spread the word, people. That's what we're about here, spreading the word. So before we get too far started, if this is your first time tuning the podcast, you are probably wondering,
what the fuck is Black with No Cream?
Great question. Black with No Cream is the illest educational resource for content creators fueled by caffeine. Or at least I take my coffee black with no cream, but you can drink or not drink whatever caffeine you fuck with and still be a part of our community. We have thousands of members from all around the world working together by sharing content, asking for feedback, passing tips and tricks along to one another with the goal of pushing each other to become the best motherfucking content creators on earth. And you can join our private group if you want to by going to bwnc.com/join. We would love to fucking have you. Please join. Jeff and Eric. What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's happening? How are you?
Yo, you know what? I'm good. Just sitting over here in Los Angeles, avoiding the virus. How about you guys?
We're here in New York avoiding the virus. So,
washing my hands about 45 times a day.
Yo, Jeff is watching YouTube videos on how to better wash your hands.
No. I know how to better. My hand washing is fine.
Hey, my hand washing wasn't fine. This taught me that my hand washing wasn't that good. It was like a quick throw. I was a soap on and then wash, and then my girl would grill me about it, that you have to get your hands wet and then soap and then lather and then wash.
See, I don't even know. Like, I just feel like the 20 seconds thing is like a good amount of time for me.
Right. That's fair. Yeah. I've been doing it too. I'm at my office and like there's no one up here anymore. So I've been like disinfecting all the locks and the door handles and shit, and just, I have it. Like, I have to have it. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
so Ben, you know that like we operate out of our home regularly. Right. So, self-quarantining and staying in our apartment to do our work is not really any different from the life that we led for the last decade.
Right.
And so going out yesterday, Jeff and I made a dedicated like hour-long walk around the city, avoiding people in New York City and like, trying to keep 6 feet in between you or whatever. And like being afraid people are going to sneeze or cough is a crazy reality, especially after like, probably staying inside for most of a week.
Right.
To experience that for the first time has been like eye-opening.
Yeah, I do think that Eric put way more thought into avoiding people than I think that one has to. I think that you just need to sort of be cognizant of people in your surrounding areas and just not touch them.
Right.
But 6 feet is sort of like, unless people are exhibiting symptoms, there's no way that people are going to broach like even like 3 feet or 2 feet. It's just like it has to be an airborne thing. So I think that it's fine. I think that you're just putting a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like weird because I realize how you don't really understand how much you use your hands and touch shit like on a day-to-day basis. Like you're just going to get groceries, you have to open up the door and they're like, God damn it, I just touched that and just wipe my eye.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like, you know what I mean? It's inevitable, but I also think, it's definitely gotta be airborne and people have it and there's so much shit. Now people are like washing their Amazon packages and you know what I mean? Like it's absurd.
Yeah.
Like there's no way you can avoid this shit because we made things too easy. Like, oh, fuck, I'm out of toothpaste. I better get it from Amazon. But that means it got shipped here from somewhere. Then some person handled it, put it in a box. That box was handled by 10 other people, gets delivered here. And now I have coronavirus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just don't put it in your mouth. That's the point. Just don't put your hands in your mouth, Ben.
I always put my hands in my mouth, dude.
You're a mouth, you're a finger eater or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a finger eater, man. Have you ever seen people that still suck their thumb, but they're like full grown?
No.
I've seen it.
Wait, I want you to out whoever it is you're talking about.
I can't, but I know that there's some people out there and I've seen them and it's like a thing where they just can't kick it. Yeah, they can't kick it from when they're like a baby and it's full grown in like public places, just full on sucking thumbs.
What?
I've never heard of this.
It was wild. It's wild to see. That's not what I wanted to talk to you guys about, though.
What kind of circles are you running in?
Running in all circles, man. You know what I mean? I'm connected to everybody. I feel like I want to talk to you guys specifically about it because it's like having a podcast and this being like the main thing that you guys do. Yeah. You guys do a lot of shit, you know what I mean? And have been doing a lot of shit. And first, I just want to say you guys have the fucking, not third, but the first best podcast I've ever heard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's fucking drives me nuts when actual valuable podcasts are like still unknown. And then there's like podcasts that are like just booming in the charts, in the top 10 charts. And everyone's like, this is cool. And then they're just hopping on a train. And I'm like, what the fuck? There's so much valuable insight to like what you guys release nonstop. And I feel like it'd be interesting to hear from your angle. But like you said, you guys are in your house, you guys record out of your house.
Yeah.
And it's it's always interviews. And so with this happening, like for me, on Sundays, I'm trying to take a break from interviewing people. I tried to stack up. And so this is like a solve for it. And you guys creating like quarantine radio. Now you guys switched up the style and you're doing something different. Was that just like let's find an immediate fix? Obviously, it's playing off the relevancy.
Yeah, I think that one thing we've always been good at is switching up in terms of like not staying at the party too long. We never wanted to be put in a corner and have people be like, oh yeah, right, those guys just do this. So over the course of our career, like you said, we've done a number of things and in a number of mediums and a number of cool ideas. With the podcast, there is that conundrum of this is an interview podcast. It's 307 episodes deep and it's good. Right. You know, it's really hit its stride and we know what we're doing. The guests understand it. The publicists understand it. The audience understands it. And then it's like, hey, wait, you can't have the guests come over to your house anymore.
Yeah, so, because like, not only do we not want people over here, but nobody's even like taking flights. Nobody's getting on the subway. Nobody's like going anywhere.
Yeah. So you have a problem and it's like, well, how do you solve that? And I'll say that we were quick to think of it. We were quick to enact it. We hit up Amazon and we're like, all right, here's what we don't have in terms of like our, technical needs. And we ordered what we needed to get. They were delivered on Sunday. We did some test episodes. And then Monday morning, right away, like Jeff did the art on Sunday.
Fire, by the way.
Thank you.
We asked, 3 different people. We figured out the format and we were like, yo, let's just make this happen. And I'll say this. We're 4 or 5 episodes in at this point. And while I think we anticipated it would be a cool way to fill our podcasting void, what we didn't consider right away was the impact that it would have on, our listeners and for us as well. Because
we get messages every single day about people who are just like, thank you so much. And I think that people are just feeling it. Like there are a lot of things to watch, but I think that this is alleviating anxiety in a way that a lot of those things just aren't touching. You know, like hearing how people are getting through their days really hits home at a time when you're wondering, how am I going to get through these next 24 hours or whatever, 8 weeks or however long?
Yeah, no, that's good. So you guys, are you recording as much as possible in advance so you can kind of stockpile, or are you doing it day by day almost?
It's day by day because everything changes so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't want to record something on a Friday, put it out on a Monday, and it's like, things shift over the weekend. It's like, oh no, this person's in a great mood when they really should be in a less great mood.
Right. Yeah. And also I just sent out a newsletter just now to our core fans, and we're starting a thing called Fan Sundays, where people who normally would not be on the podcast because of location, because of what they do, because of whatever, doesn't really fit in with our guest list. We're having them come on and we're going to talk to them for 20 minutes at a time or 15 minutes or whatever it is, 10 minutes, 5 minutes if they're really boring.
Yeah, right.
Jump the call. But no, I think that we're going to get a lot of perspectives on what people are going through and brightening up their day, 5, 10, 20 minutes at a time.
I think it's a great way to fill the gap. Obviously, we have no idea when this will end, and it looks like it's going to be kind of a little jaunt of time because you don't want to just keep passing this around, and it's very important for people to stay the fuck inside and not go spread shit. You know what I mean? It does seem like a solid solve. When we were thinking about it too, we were talking about like maybe because we do on Wednesdays, we do something similar to this, like which I would love to do with you guys again, but it's called the morning roast, where we just like deep dive into a topic for 30 minutes, whatever. And so we were like, maybe we do that with a bunch of different people. And then we're like, yeah, but that's just like a longer morning roast. And then you guys did it. And I was like, all right, this is inspiring me. Like it makes too much sense. And it adds, it kind of fills the same amount of time our podcast would, but it's interesting because I can talk to all kinds of different people and to hearing how you guys are coping with it. Plus you guys do a lot of live shit. You guys are so active in the scene. You're constantly going to events and everything. That's how you do a majority of networking too.
I think too. And a really important thing is that, so we did a weekly podcast, right? And then, and that's, 300 episodes on a weekly basis. There's also, our other podcasts that we do with the Locks, 2 Jews and 2 Black Dudes review the movies. And then it's like, well, people are going to be starving for content. I know myself, I subscribe to a lot of YouTube channels. I need that video to show up.
Well, but talk about what YouTube channels you're talking about.
I watch a lot of car restoration channels and
Logan Paul.
engine rebuilds and
engine rebuilds. Are you being serious?
Yeah, I'm totally into cars. This idea of lock picking is something that Jeff remembers that I watched once because
it wasn't just once
because he locked his door and we had to take off the door handle to actually get into his room. But that is no longer a part of my life.
But that is what led down this road
a year ago.
Hey, one of my really good friends back in junior high got a lock picking kit, and he hooked me up with it because I had this idea where I wanted to go to our local hotel and lock pick the pool tables so I could just get the money out of there. So then we'd just keep being able to play pool for free. And I couldn't master it.
We're learning a lot about Ben today.
Yeah, I thought that we were going to talk about the things that are happening with us, but now I really want to know about Ben and the way that he makes money.
But
yeah, I have no idea how I'm going to make any fucking money, man.
Right. But the bigger point was that people were starving for content, and I was just like, you know what probably makes the most sense is to do a daily show and give people just something because, once a week during this time when it's like, I'm indoors, I'm bored, I've gone through like all the episodes of Chernobyl or, Sopranos or whatever. It's like, give me something else. And if we can give people something on a regular basis, get people involved, I think that we're all better for it.
No, I think it's a great idea. I think that it's something that will fill a gap. And I'm interested to see what you guys do past the point where everything's back to normal. I imagine we'll be back to normal in a short time, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, so on that, if things are not normal, I think we positioned ourselves in a good space over the last, like I said, decade where it's like, we're self-sufficient.
Yep.
We can, we've proven that we can do a lot of content from our home. It's like if Hollywood is really crippled after this, if people are in their homes for a long time and you're not doing big movies and you're not doing, big scripted TV shows, it's like, well, what can you do from your home or in a small setting? And we're pretty good at that.
So. Yeah, we're pretty primed to, hit the ground running for whatever it is.
I was trying to see, I think Jimmy Fallon even did a YouTube version of his show, from his house.
Yeah.
Fallon, Kimmel, and Colbert have all been recording at home.
Yeah. And it's like, welcome to the club, man.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's solid. And it's cool too, because you guys can talk to so many different people. You've built so many good relationships over the time that you're going to keep putting out full insight, full, awareness too on current events. Like that's what those episodes provide, which is really, really dope.
Well, until we inevitably get into some fight and then start two competing podcasts. And so then it's like, what am I going to do versus what is Eric going to do? How do we monopolize the equipment?
Yeah,
you're like recording your episode and I can hear him recording his episode in the other like side of the room. And it's just,
and we got 15 foot cords. So,
there we go. Yeah, that's true. Is it, with you guys does it affect you? Do you worry about financials at all in this regard? Do you guys think about that immediately? Like when this started happening? For me, I lost a job. I was supposed to be with J Electronics. They were going to do a whole thing out here.
Wow.
Right away it was like, oh, we're gonna cancel that shit because
yes, we had business meetings
that were moving forward like quickly.
Like we went to this big office and we met with this big guy who we'd been meeting with, and we walked into the office and there was no one in there, and I was like, well, this is strange. And it occurred to me that people are probably working from home.
Yeah.
And it was like,
and we all did the thing where like we don't shake hands.
Yeah.
It was we didn't know that it would be like complete lockdown, but I think that that is a deal that is going to have to wait for a little while, especially while the markets figure themselves out. I think that, I can't imagine that advertisers are still advertising right now. So I don't know how.
Or not like they did, but it's like, I had a discussion with a friend who works at a giant company that's still very much in business. They're mostly digital. And he was thinking of ways for them to spend their money in new and progressive ways as well. So there's part of me that thinks like, you know what? John Legend and Chrissy Teigen have a humongous audience and they're doing a live on a, Tuesday or Wednesday night. Some advertisers got to think, hey, that's pardon the pun, but a captive audience, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, let me just sponsor that and be a presenting sponsor. And it's like more and more.
Yeah, but John and Chrissy are going to donate that to
I get it. But like if you have, whatever artist is like carrying a big platform, it's like, yeah, maybe I do want, my brand to be a part of that.
No, totally. Yeah. I see it as, it's just they have to kind of revise their strategy because all these big brands they have the whole year mapped out to an extent, you know what I mean? And their budgets in different pockets. But when airlines stop, why are airlines going to keep promoting to buy flights? You know what I mean? If that's what your big bread and butter was promoting American Airlines tickets or whatever the fuck, like they're not going to really need to spend that money right now until they figure shit out. I think one thing that I think is good for you guys is you have your Patreon account, which I'm happy that you guys started that.
It's something that we didn't do for a long time.
Yeah.
We weren't sure like how it worked. We weren't sure if like people would be committed to it. And we didn't know, you know, whether the Times would support it or not, you know, and we're very happy to see that people are into it, that they're supporters, and that like beyond just like being a fan, they want to be part of something that feels bigger to them. And that's, really, really gratifying.
Well, and do you guys listen to the, were you a fan of The Office?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you listened
which one? I mean, both, but yes.
The American one. But did you hear the, what's their podcast name?
Office Ladies?
Yeah, Office Ladies. Have you guys listened to that?
Jeff did.
I listened to probably like 4 episodes.
Yeah, same.
And then I was like, I'm going to catch up at a later point because like the first season is not my favorite. But like I do enjoy, also they came in very hot. Like it was a lot of just like this like gratitude of like, oh my God, like I can't believe we're doing this. And I was like, okay, I just need to like wait for them to
be good
even out.
Right. I think like what's interesting about, to me, Patreon, right? I've been a fan of the platform for so long, and it's luckily like we established it, and it's not like massive for us, but it's enough to keep our rent paid for at this podcast office or whatever, which is helpful as fuck. But what I like about it is it gives like creators the opportunity to have the label funding. You know what I mean? For us, it's like, if you look at that show, it clearly looks funded. Like there's no worries. They have everything dialed in. Everything is so pristine. They have producers. They have executive producers. They have like the run of shows dialed. Like everything's taken care of for them. And it's because they have those agencies and those people reap benefits from making sure that shit happens for these people. But when we start these types of things, when we run these bootleg shows, it's like we depend on the audience to buy a mug. We depend on, especially with that. And we're getting these people to come and be guests because they like us for some reason or whatever, which is awesome. But then it's not like that immediately equates to like a check. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, it's more cool than like a sustainable thing. Yeah. Right. But I think that people like being part of cool things, and then hopefully like the business catches up to it. I think that's like in the story of our career. And I think that you've been able to straddle it, where you've been able to be hired by huge productions and then also do things on your own and subsidize that with your own like income and stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing. It becomes kind of a challenge too. Like where I have like editing jobs, luckily that were that planned before this, and they need to be done. And so I'm doing those right now. But as much as I want to dive in and just constantly be banging out content right now, it's like, God damn it, I still have to get. This is like 12-hour days of editing that I have to do on top of trying to manage our base model of podcasting, but I love it that you guys have been able to find a way to take advantage of the time and really crank out the output of content that you guys are doing, because I think it's just gonna fill a gap and people are excited to listen to it. And honestly, you never know. Like I think from studying YouTubers, you watch these people go to like they vlog or whatever, and they're doing weekly vlogs, but then they crank it up to daily. The amount of new fans that they get is insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's we're proud of our body of work, and whenever people find it, it's always a joy to us when people are like, yo, I've been sleeping on them for the longest, or like, I never heard of these guys. It's really funny to see like, some of our videos go viral on YouTube and people see us for the first time. They're just like, wait, you really did this? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, I've never heard of you before. And it's like, man, as much as we're like, we've been around for a dozen years and we've done a lot of cool things, people still might not know you in some corner of the internet.
Yeah, which is fair, because it just means that like I saw an article in the Times before any of this was happening about how like there are way too many celebrities. And it's just like, that's true. Like there's just so many people, and like, we fulfill our thing for a niche audience, and then, you hope that niche gets bigger.
Damn, that's so true. Fuck. There are like even what show did I start watching last night? It was a new Hulu show.
The Office.
No, it wasn't The Office. Damn it! But it's like watching Stranger.
Weren't you watching Beyonce live last night?
Oh yeah, that was yesterday. That was nice.
It's called Homecoming.
But how crazy? Like, think about that. That's crazy too. And I was just talking about this with CacheBunny, who's also on this episode. But Netflix made a Chrome extension that allows everyone to watch a film together and have a party.
It's pretty special, and we might be doing a cool thing for 2 Jews and 2 Black dudes with that.
Yeah, like there's ways to take advantage of that type of shit because people want to be together and we're forced not to, which is probably half the problem. Like, people have been thinking about their spring break to go wild in college, and that's why those parties are still happening, because they don't give a fuck, because they're probably not paying attention to what the reality of them getting together is, but people need to be together. So there's a way to adapt to that. Like, to be able to review a movie in real time.
I think now is the time for creators everywhere. You are forced to adapt, and that's musical artists or comedians for live performances. That's podcasters who rely on a third member to be in the same room. That is it's everybody. Yeah,
it's everybody doing everything.
Painters. Yeah. You have to adapt. You have to figure out a new way to bring your art to other people, because museums are closing. And the Metropolitan Opera laid everybody off, and this happens over and over. And it's like, well, what can we do to keep culture and community alive? And I think that we're just trying to do our little part here and hope that everyone else does theirs.
Yeah, it's either this or we start singing Celine Dion songs off our balcony.
That's it.
That's it. Those are the only two options.
Yeah, I saw Trevor Noah try to start it up the other day.
Yeah, and then someone was like, "Shut up, shut the fuck up."
No, that's great. Yo, I appreciate you guys. Is there anything else you want to leave for people? I'm gonna put links to you guys' podcast and socials in the bio. But
yeah, I think that there's so much content out there. The easiest way to search us is ItsTheReal. One word, no apostrophe, no spaces. Just Google us, and you'll find a lot of work.
And hop in and support their Patreon, guys.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we didn't even get to talk about how you have the same name as Macklemore.
Yeah, we could.
We'll save that for quarantine radio, all right?
Yeah, there we go. All right, I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Ben.
Yo, thank you, Jeff and Eric, for coming on the podcast. It was actually super last minute, but they were down to hop on, so I appreciate them for doing that. Make sure to check out their podcast, A Waste of Time with ItsTheReal. It's unreal for real. So make sure to check that out. Links will be in the description below. Next, we have CacheBunny. You guys know her. She's been on the podcast before. I'm excited to bring her on. I'll quit wasting your time. Let's just get into this. Next section. On the call right now, CacheBunny, guru, legend, VFX god, out in this motherfucker. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. You were just on a cruise, dude.
I was just on a cruise, and how crazy is that timing?
Yeah, like when were you, did you just get back? Like not too long ago?
Yeah, we got back we were supposed to get back on the 6th. We were supposed to land in New York on the 6th. And then during the cruise, it was a 9-day cruise from London to New York.
Yeah.
We were getting content on it. And during the cruise, the captain came on the loudspeaker and he was like, "Hey everyone, I have an important announcement. Due to coronavirus," and like, everyone's like, what is he about to say? And he was like, "We're going to be switching routes and we're going to Miami instead of New York," because basically they were going to New York to have this big opening party where all these publicists were going to go on the boat and see the whole venue and like and have all these shows and stuff. And they were like, "We don't think it's appropriate anymore to like have this big opening when everything's so dark right now, and especially with the cruise ship industry."
Right.
So we're rerouting, we're going to Miami, and we're getting there a day later than we were originally scheduled. So then like everyone on the boat was just like,
holy shit.
Yeah, what a huge switch. Man. To like, yeah. So we were on for 10 days actually, but thank God nobody got sick.
That's crazy.
We were all good.
Yeah, I mean, you see these boats like over here in Oakland and shit that are just chilling off the coast, waiting to like figure out what to do, and they're just people that have the virus that are sitting on it. What a crazy! This has been nuts, and I think that I feel like with this episode, I'm stoked to have you guys all on, like different creators of different types on or whatever, and talk about how it's affecting you guys as creatives. We did a morning roast episode on it not too long ago.
Yeah, I just was watching that.
Nice. But I feel like piggybacking off of that, it's interesting, especially from the editing standpoint. Like primarily, obviously you direct and you go out, and I feel like most of the content you are creating involves you shooting and aspects of you shooting. So I'm interested to hear kind of your take on like, how are you dealing with the blowback of it now? Luckily you're home safe and are hopefully virus free. as
Yeah,
we just
hopefully.
assume we are. That's why we got this hand sanitizer, man.
Yes. Well, for me, like so much of my time, I do shoot, I do direct and stuff like that. But like a lot of my time is really just spent here at home editing. So I feel like, relatively compared to other creators, I've been very fortunate to like not have a huge amount of blowback from this. The cruise was obviously like a pretty big switch up, but that ended up being a good thing because we had an extra day to create and like that was totally fine. And actually it was awesome because we went to Miami, so we got some warm weather to actually shoot like pool content and stuff that. So that was a good thing. But when I got home, I was supposed to do a job starting on that Friday. I was supposed to leave. So it was supposed to be a couple days after we got back from the cruise, and that was going to be a 5-week long job. And like a pretty big thing. I was producing, directing, shooting, doing basically everything, hiring people. And that got postponed. Yeah. They said till the beginning of April, but actually I just got word today that like the whole event we were covering is canceled. So
damn.
There's still the opportunity of it being, coming back and just being postponed to a later date, but no one knows what's going on right now.
So then what have you been thinking about like as time passes? Because we don't know when we're going to be allowed to like hang out with each other again. You know what I mean? Like no one's supposed to leave their house. Everyone's supposed to stay quarantined, rock it out for like 14 days till April 1st. When we're recording this right now, it's March 19th. So 11 more days of just chilling. And have you thought about it? Like, okay, what happens if this like rolls into like multiple months? You know what I mean? Honestly, it doesn't really feel that real right now. Like the 2 weeks feels very real and I'm like super prepared for that. But the idea of this going on for months, like is a little bit, I mean, it's definitely scary because it's just like, well, what does this look like? And like, I think what I'm a little bit scared of is that people are going to not like right now, people are being really diligent and really good about it. But like, if this goes on for months, like it's going to get a little bit more relaxed and, I don't know what that really means, but all I know is like, I'm trying to be really like responsible about it. Like our whole house decided nobody comes in or out, or well, I mean, we can like go outside and whatever, but nobody comes in for at least a week. And then we'll see from there, like closest friends, anybody, like nobody's coming in. Right. Full lockdown.
Yeah. Cause that's the only way. Cause like if we have it, if one of us has it, probably all of us have it. Right. And then like, there's just all the blowback from that is just going to be a huge headache. And so we're just trying to be responsible.
No, that's good. I feel like one thing that we talked about in the morning roast too was the idea of like repurposing old content for clients. Like there's either what content you may have or some clients like say these cruises, or we'll just use them as an example since you just did a cruise job. Say you hadn't shot any content, maybe the trip got postponed because of this before you even went out. They probably have so much other content that they've captured over the years, and there's tons of clients that have done that. And I don't think a lot of people are thinking about the idea of like utilizing and repurposing that content, which could be a huge benefit for editors. Do you have any advice for people that may have past clients and those clients may be sitting on some, footage that they've never used or could repurpose to like turn that into like a potential job during this time, Oh yeah. Like this is such prime time for getting into creative editing. And like, that's my roots, like we talked about when we did the other podcast. Like I didn't use a camera for years, but I was like, got a job editing videos at MTV, even though I had never shot anything because I was, sourcing from the internet and repurposing footage into other things. And so like right now is the perfect time for that. And you're already seeing that happen, like, on TikTok and on whatever, people are making like memes and stuff out of existing footage and like really making them into something completely different. Like a lot of people are doing like the glam bot things and making them like funny memes, like, where it's like hand sanitizer, toilet paper as like these glamorous shots. Shout out Cole. But yeah, this is like the perfect time for that, is to show off your skills and what you're able to do if you don't have the best camera and if you don't have, hours to shoot with somebody and you can't choose your location and whatever, but like just take what's out there and make something cool out of it. Right. During the downtime, are you finding yourself less panicked right now, obviously, because we just don't know what it is, but you're kind of relaxing a little bit in the sense of everything will work out and we'll be back to normal soon? And in the meantime, have you found a way to take advantage of the time?
Yeah, I think the first few days we were very like the whole house here, we were just taking it really seriously and like, watching all the mayor's announcements, all 5 of us just huddled around and like listening to every word.
He killed that, by the way. I
he's
thought
so good.
He was really good. Like the way I'm like, teleprompter or not, however he was able to memorize most of these lines because it flowed. And then he went straight into Spanish afterwards. I was like, God damn,
I know.
what a beast.
Right. And like answering the questions so well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he
Very
killed it.
informative.
Yeah, he's doing them every day. So like we've been trying to watch it every day. But as of yesterday, we're getting a little bit more relaxed with that too. And I think we're just kind of settling into it. But wait, what was the second part of that question?
What have you been doing? Like, are you doing anything different? Like, you know, some people are taking advantage of like the time to like catch up on personal projects that they haven't had a chance to do that could be done.
100%. 100%. Yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing. Actually, my friend just sent me some footage. He's like, you know, I don't know if you have any like desire to play around with this. I was like, yeah, send it over. He's like an insane drone pilot, and just sent me some footage. And so I've been playing around with that. A lot of what I've been doing is working on my preset pack, which like I started it 2 years ago and forgot about it. And then I was like, you know what? Now is the perfect time.
Literally.
I got hours to sit here and just make all these keyframes and just start saving these presets. So like that's a great use of time as well, in my opinion. And also streamed on Twitch the other day, just like as I was editing. And I was like, you know, I've never done Twitch before, but now is, you know, the perfect time to do it. People are hungry for content. And people, you know, even like the Daily Show, you know, they're not even on. So if you yourself can create content that people want to watch during this time where nobody has anything to do, then like people want to watch something.
Yeah.
So like I did that the other day and that was really cool, but also like I was kind of thinking of it more as like almost how I would do like an Instagram live stream where I was trying to be like interactive and really talk to people the whole time. But I think the key moving forward would be just like set the stream and then just edit. And like, if you want to watch, you can watch. And if you don't, then you know what I mean? You can pop in and whatever.
Yeah. I think that'd be really cool. We talked about this the other day on the phone, but like, I think it would be cool to explore that, especially because there's so much you can learn by just observing. One of the main things that we always hope for is that you can get some sort of internship or apprenticeship or whatever it may be to mentor under someone that you look up to. And literally just the best part is being able to like look over someone's shoulder and see how they're doing some shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that can be super effective.
Yeah. That I've learned so many things just by working with other editors. And like, it's interesting to see like YouTube culture, YouTube creators who normally do their own things, you know, and don't have like a office to work in with a lot of other editors. Like their editing styles are usually very, very specific. And like, you know, they do things in their very certain way, even though they're hugely famous. Right. They just have always done it a certain way and it's always worked. But like when you have the opportunity to work around other editors and see how people do things, like 10 times in an hour, you'll be like, what was that? What was that? What was that? Yeah,
of course.
You know, and you pick up so many things. And people ask me a lot of like my friends who are creators who haven't worked in like a corporate environment, they'll be like, how are you learning all these things? I'm like, dude, like I worked with other editors and we would just all sit there and nerd out all day. So, you know, to give other people the opportunity to do that, even though they're not in a corporate setting, I think could be really cool.
Do you see this like becoming something that beyond this virus happening, you know what I mean, hopefully it goes the fuck away pretty soon, if everyone stays inside and practices social distancing? Do you see that like potentially something you would be interested in doing, moving beyond being bored? Like I think it's such a cool tool to offer, especially your audience looks up to you and you share so many cool behind the scenes facts about like, this is how I did this and check me out on set and this, I'm flying the drone, and you put what the thing you had on your Instagram the other day, like I always take off. You went to the Hollywood sign to fly. She went to fly the drone. She wanted to get shots of the clouds, the rolling clouds, and above the Hollywood sign. And she like had a video, and then she like pointed out that she was missing a shoe, and she says that she uses her shoe as her tripod stand for her phone when she does her little videos. But you take people out with you, you know what I mean? You like kind of take them behind the scenes. It's part of like kind of the nature of you as a creator. Is it challenging to, like for me, I love doing that as well. And I think it's really cool to break down how you do certain things. I've ran into it being kind of stressful because it's almost like in order for me to continue to do it constantly, I would have to go out and create things specifically for that breakdown because most of my clients require NDAs and I can't show how I edited a footage of this person because it may make them look bad, or someone could take it out of context or whatever it is, or someone could show the client that I'm using their footage and using it as a teaching lesson, and it becomes so, I don't know, it's just the politics behind it are very tough. Like, how do you deal with that, or how are you going to deal with that, making your content?
I think I'm still going to find that out because, like, until now, it's been pretty chill to, like, show, you know, some behind the scenes of, like, how we're setting up shots and stuff like that. But like, that's not necessarily always with big clients, or like, I don't know, I guess I don't work with that many like celebrities. I mean, Will Smith, we did some behind the scenes with him, but like they're super chill about behind the scenes stuff, and they want it, and they like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think with other people, it's like a little bit more sensitive. But like, you know, with this stuff, like with the Twitch stuff, like I won't definitely, when we talked about this the other day too, I definitely won't be able to just stream me editing everything, because it's like, you know, for client stuff, that's really not chill to show, you know, any cleanup work or any like mistakes or things like that. Like that's definitely not chill to show. So I guess, you know, in that way, it would be better to work on more personal projects, but that's, you know, good inspiration to do so. I just hope that it doesn't get, you know, to the point where I'm too busy with client projects that I can't do the other stuff.
Right.
Because I do want to stay, you know, with anything like that, you want to stay consistent.
Yeah, it is challenging, because it's like, to me, if you're a streamer or something, if you want to stream, the point is consistency, right? Like like I struggle deeply with it right now, and you're helping me out, and everyone that's getting on this podcast today is helping me out, because I hate the idea of having to do an interview like this, because the person, like, it's cool and it's personable, but it's not like authentic, where I can have someone come and sit down on the podcast. And so this entire time, ever since I started, I've been able to make sure every interview has been done in real time, like with the person here with me. And now we can't, you know what I mean? So we're trying to find alternative ways to like create something, but I don't want to break the consistency of having an episode drop on Sundays. Like, I'm cool with it not being an interview this Sunday, but being able to dive deep and do this alternative, like kind of morning roast in like longer form is cool. But yeah, it's like, that's a huge struggle, is like, man, I don't want to break consistency. I want to try to provide enough value, but then you have to try to balance your work. Your work is how you make your money, until you find a way to like make streaming or tutorials or whatever it may be, make money, you know what I mean? Because that's how these people are doing it. These people get brand deals and shit like that, which is cool that you could kind of fuel it behind that. Damn. I love that it could potentially make a whole new lane of like teaching for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's so much opportunity within this that like, that it's important to sort of shed a light on and be like, okay, well, when you think about it from the point of everyone is at home and most of us have more free time than we're used to having. What can you do with that? Right. Especially when you have a platform, how do you take advantage of the fact that there's all these people looking for things to do? And that's kind of what I'm exploring right now, is like coming up with concepts that can work that into it. And I have a really cool idea. I don't want to like spoil it, because I think it could be cool if no one knows what it is.
Yep.
But like, it almost feels like the pressure is on of like, take advantage of this situation, make it work for you. You know what I mean? Make it cool, explore it, like, you know, be responsible, stay home, but like, what can you do at home? What have you never thought to shoot in your house or with your roommates or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm seeing that from a ton of people, like interviewing their family members, or, you know, doing dances, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Oh, did you see that glam bot that somebody did where they, on TikTok, it like blew up, where they hung a camera, a GoPro from the ceiling, and then like pushed it towards themselves and did like people are getting super creative. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, TikTok is fucking going up right now.
It really is.
It's unreal. But yeah, I agree. That's what's cool about it, is that we're kind of like, the pressure's on to come up with something new while you wait. Or a lot of creators are just waiting and nervous, and they don't know what's going to come next. But yeah, I think thinking outside the box and trying to find alternative ways to like continue your work or do your job. One thing I've struggled with that I've noticed so far in this shit is that I've been treating every day, it feels like as if I have like not the flu, but like if it was like a sick day, you know, like when you have a sick day, kind of like a snow day, and you're just like, I don't really want to do shit. Like, I'm going to eat bad food. I'm definitely not thinking about working out ever. And then my job, like work is so hard, because we're also so distracted by trying to learn about this shit. So we're like on every social media platform looking through. My girlfriend's little sister just sent us a screenshot that she was on it for 17 hours in one day, you know, like she was on social media for just like on her phone. But it is something where it's like you're consuming, you're trying to learn. And then there's like this weird like stigma that I put in my head of like, you don't really have to do shit, even though I have like 2 client jobs I need to finish. So I'm trying to work on that as much without getting distracted. And I really want to implement things like this and be proactive about creating. But for some reason, this fucking virus is like making it all right to like not do much too.
Dude, same. Like, it's been feeling like a snow day. And like, even though I work from home and would normally be in this situation where I'm homework, like nothing has really changed that significantly. I mean, I did have the job cancel and whatever, but like I work from home normally.
Yeah, right.
So just something about it is this, I think it's just like emotionally exhausting to like not know what the future is going to hold and like not be able to plan anything. And like, there's just so many question marks for everybody. And the fact that it's everyone in the world, that's something that like, I don't think I've ever experienced before, where every single person in the world is dealing with the same issue. And so I think it's exhausting, but I think it's also like, there's a lot there to bring us together and to like, you know, take advantage of in a weird way.
It's
and
really
I think that's
crazy.
We should, you know?
Yeah, it's historic. Like, it's such a weird thing to think of everyone on earth knowing about the same thing and like trying to figure out how to solve the same problem and protect themselves from the same problem and shit. Like, everyone's dealing with it, but there's so many no one knows how to react. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's really interesting is that they're all trying to decide what the right thing to do is for themselves. And it's not easy, but yeah, I think for creators, it just opens up a whole new lane. Last night, one of Beyonce's fans like tweeted out some shit like, all right, let's all watch Homecoming together, the film on Netflix.
Oh, I saw that.
And do a watch party. So they had like B retweeted the person that said it, and so everyone went nuts. And then Netflix got behind it, and they created their own extension for Chrome, so everyone could do like watch parties, and so like, but they broke it. Like the Chrome extension couldn't handle the amount of people that were trying to do it. It was crazy.
That's legendary.
It was so sick. There was like 1 million users on the Chrome extension, but like people all came together and were watching this film together, and I'm like, that really. I was like, damn, yo, that was kind of dope. And then I'm like, what if we were able to do like, you know, review the movies? Like, what if we're all watch a movie together and then like kind of broke shit down or discussed it like a book club would do? Like that could be a hobby that people take up. Like there's so many different things that you could be doing. We're trying to organize like a big like breakdown with one of my homies and his crew, and that's something we're trying to organize for Black with No Cream coming up. So we could do like a 2-hour stream where we're like chatting up with different people and breaking. There's so many things that we could be doing. It's just about being proactive on it. Damn.
Yeah, and I think there really is. And I think like going back to what we were saying about like, you know, streaming, and you can't necessarily always stream client projects, but like everyone's sitting on footage. All your creator friends are sitting on footage that they're like, it's cool, but I don't really have any purpose for it. So like you can all come together and like make something together. Like, yo, send me your footage, I'll send you mine, and let's see, I don't know, let's see what happens. Right. But like no expectations. And I think that's also what's cool about, you know, not having everything you do be a client project for a little while, because it's like, it's very liberating. And even when I was doing that stream the other night, everyone was like, oh, when's this coming out? I'm like, it's probably not. I'm just messing around, you know. And there's a lot of freedom in that. And I think we're going to see a lot of cool projects and a lot of cool content come from this whole quarantine situation. It still feels weird to say it. It doesn't feel real, but also I had a client that I've worked with a fair amount reach out the other day about starting a new project, like big reputable client. And that was like, I mean, I didn't expect to be getting any new calls from people, but they were specific about like, you know, asking me first and foremost how I was doing through the quarantine, and then saying like, we know this is affecting creators and we want to do our part to like not stop everything so that things can keep going and to help creators. Yeah.
That's what people got to do, man. It's like, this is the time to do it. It's now more than ever. There's so many of us that are affected by it. Money stops. And Black with No Cream, if you go just scroll through the Facebook page, it's just constant people like, yo, I just lost all these jobs. I lost 49 jobs. They're keeping track of like all the jobs they're losing that were coming up, just because so many people are event based. You know what I mean? Like we do a lot of shit around events. You were on a fucking big ass boat for a week. Like if that would have happened to been here, that could have been a big chunk of your income for the year. You know what I mean? And
yeah, we were supposed to go back in May, and all the cruises are canceled. Yeah,
fuck, it's crazy. So it's like, I don't know. It's a big lesson to like understand the value of saving some money and being prepared for stupid shit like this, so you don't have to trip out. But there's a lot of people out there that are living paycheck to paycheck and have to like figure it out. You know what I mean? But man, all right. Well, this was dope. Thank you for doing this. Random.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for asking me too.
Idea. Hopefully people like this shit. Is there anything else you want to tell people?
I don't think so. I got a preset pack coming out soon that I've been working on over this quarantine. So
what's the goal of that? Like, what's the preset pack all about? Like, what kind of presets?
So it's basically ghetto auto reactivity for people who don't use After Effects. So I started this like 2 years ago when I was only working in Premiere. And so I wanted things to be able to bounce to the music, but you can't do that. There's no like audio reactivity built into Premiere, and I didn't know After Effects. So I'm just kind of seeing it through now, but basically it will have every BPM in every frame rate. And I'm just sitting here manually just
Jesus Christ.
Thousands of keyframes. I want to count how many. I don't even know how many, but it should be pretty cool. I'm going to give it away for free probably.
Psychopath. She's spending 2 years making this package. She's like, here, free.
I know, it's so stupid. And then I saw somebody like selling a preset pack today, and it was like 3 little things, and I was like, oh.
That's what I'm saying, yo. You need to sell it, or at least if you're gonna do it for free because you're a nice person, that's cool. Put a donate button somewhere next to it, because people donate to that shit all the time, and honestly, you deserve it. At least rent paid for 1 month off this preset pack.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it. I was thinking maybe 24 hours free and then do it paid or something.
Great idea. Fuck it. How will people find that? Are you putting it on your website or what?
I'll definitely post something about it on my Instagram. I got to make a little video of how to use it and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. So keep an eye out for her links to her Instagrams in the bio. And yeah, cool. Well, thank you for doing this. You're the shit.
Of course.
We'll get you in on another morning roast soon at some point.
Please. I would love to come.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Stay safe.
Yo, if you guys are not already following CacheBunny, I highly suggest you check her out on Instagram. Her content is very, very motivating. She also shares a lot of cool behind the scenes work on her Instagram stories. She's filling you in on how she achieves things. She's showing you in advanced looks at what she's making. So definitely check her out. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. That was awesome. If you guys are enjoying this, please let us know in the comment section on YouTube. If you could go over to YouTube and just leave your takeaways. I would love to hear what kind of information you're taking away from these episodes. What did ItsTheReal say so far that you kind of find helpful to you as a creative? What did CacheBunny say? And then next, we're going to have Morgan Cooper. So I would love to hear what you think about him. He is a phenomenal director. His work is next level, and he's about to be that dude for the next 10 years. I guarantee you this. So make sure you check him out, and let's get into his section right now. Morgan Cooper, live with us. Not really live, but pre-recording with us. How you doing, dog?
Peace, bro. I'm good, man. I'm good. Just like everyone else, man. Just hunkering down, and it's just crazy time, man. But feel blessed, man. So how you doing?
I'm great. You said you're in Kansas City right now. That's good for you, right? You'd rather be bunkered down in KC versus LA, right?
Yeah, man. Flew back like 3 days ago. I kept my place in Kansas City for times such as this. You know what I mean? Where it's just like I gotta go back to home base. Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
I've always got a place to go back to, man. And I'm near my family. If something was to happen, I couldn't be there to help or do anything about it. That'd be really, really difficult. So figured I'd come back and be near my family. So
no, I love that. That shit drives me crazy too, because we were doing the same thing with me and my girl. We're like, man, it's like I would love to go to Iowa, but at the same time, you just assume that this shit could just be done soon. So you hope that, you can't really predict it. But now it's to the point where I don't want to be part of the problem traveling. Like I literally was talking about, do we leave like in a day or two? Should we drive back to Iowa? That's a 3-day trip though, bro. That's a long jaunt. You probably done it. You did the drive out here?
No.
Oh,
no,
good.
Man.
You're good. Yeah. It's good one time. I don't know about during an epidemic or whatever, because you're just hauling ass to get back. But anyway, bro, I feel like as I dressed it up before, it's like I'm talking to different creatives, and I think that this is such an interesting time for all of us, and especially for you, a director, a writer. Like you're constantly either on set or in writing rooms or taking meetings, all involve being around a lot of people. Minus writing. Sometimes you can write by yourself, obviously, if you need to. But I was just interested to see how it's affecting you, like job-wise. Like how are you handling all this?
Yeah, man. There's really been no effect on me, to be honest with you. Since I pivoted into writing, directing, I've really just been developing projects, on the TV side, just continuing to write. Thankfully, my deals are done for those projects. And so really, in terms of work, it's actually been, I hate to say this because it, really is a catastrophe what's happening. It's very, very sad. And, so many people are really suffering, in the service industry, anything where like people need to populate, like are really hurting, theaters, like you name it. So obviously like that's terrible, for me though, as a writer, the time has been really, really helpful. So I'm really just making the best out of the time to really hunker down and write, you know, a lot of the meetings, all the meetings I had booked outside of some that I'm taking virtually, you know, through Zoom, you know, stuff like that, have been pushed indefinitely, you know, until this thing clears up. And so I've really just been able to just really zone in and get my writing done. And so yeah, really no effect, you know, thankfully my deals are done on my projects. So.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. And I think we kind of all strive for free time. Like we always think about it every single day. Like, man, if only I had all day to focus on this one thing, and it's kind of rare, and this forces us almost to be put in that box.
That's right.
I always think about it too, and through different creatives I've talked to, like a YouTuber might be like, yo, this is actually the best shit ever because everyone's bored and needs content, so they're just watching my live streams or they're watching my whatever they do. And I think that is a positive right now. But then if I think about it, because I'm always interested, like, what if this shit goes south for longer than we planned? How does this change? So like, for instance, if people like to tune into your streams and your brands are still giving you money and stuff, but then eventually maybe people aren't getting paid as much because they can't work anymore. Now they don't get money. They can't help support the brands that support you to stay on YouTube or whatever. But for yours, is it something, do you ever think about it like from a standpoint of you can write all day, but if productions can't get back to work, what do we do with the literature? You know what I mean? For films, you know what I mean? Do you ever think of it that way from that aspect?
I have thought about that, man, you know, and honestly, I think at that point, there really is no answer, you know, anything really is possible. And I think, I don't think there's any way the world stays the same after this. I don't think anyone will argue with that. The fact that like this will change things. This is going to change nearly every industry in some way or another. So yeah, man, I mean, I suppose it's a possibility, and that'd be really difficult. You know, I really do love writing, but I love being on set, man. I love being behind monitor, and I just love that side of storytelling. And so, you know, I'm trying to just keep all the positive energy flowing and just say, look, you know, this thing, you know, everybody doing their part, staying inside. You know, making sure to combat this thing and everybody do their part. You know, the hope is that this thing blows over and things can get back to normal, and maybe even, you know, in abundance of like what it was, you know, because there will be so much energy for people to connect with each other and tell stories again, you know. And I think what it does really puts things in perspective and makes you appreciate the time that you do have together with your loved ones on set. You see what I'm saying? So like, I think there's a lot of perspective to be gained from this. And so it's all about taking that negative and turning it into a positive, which, you know, all my energy is going towards, you know, that direction.
Absolutely. You know? Nah, I think that's super true. Is it, you know, you announced the, and I saw Quibi has been doing a full court press right now. I see Chance the Rapper popping up as an ad every time I'm watching like Hulu and shit, and it's promoting Quibi. Yeah. You did some content with them and with Gabrielle Union, and you announced not too long ago, right? Yeah. I'm writing a show for Quibi right now, man. It's called Black Coffee. Black Coffee. Right. Yeah. So you guys haven't gone into production? It's just still in the writing mode right now? Yeah, still writing, you know, and just really, really enjoying the process, man. It's just going to be such a cool show, bro. Yeah. I can't wait to share this. I know, right? That's what I'm excited for. I'm interested to see, like, it's like in this time, I mean, was that what you were working on, focusing on the writing of that show even before this shit started hitting the fan? Were you really focusing on this? Is this still like the main thing that you're focused on right now? There's a lot, man. There's a lot. Like, I can't. There's a particular project I want to speak on. Yeah, but I can't yet. Right. But you know, in heavy development for that, we're excited to take that out. Like literally, as soon as this blows over, we're gonna take it out. But oh, good. That's amazing. Yeah. Nah, I already tell in your face, you're pumped as hell. It's special, man. So that's the thing, man. I feel like last year, you know, after Bel Air dropped, and you know, I pivoted into writing and directing. It was just planting seeds. You know what I mean? I was literally shifting my career trajectory, right? And so planting all these seeds, taking all these different meetings, you know, building out your slate, and then this year is just watering those seeds. And I feel like 2021 is when it's just like, it's all gonna bloom, you know, when all this new material that I'm making, you know, is released. And so this year, man, just, you know, I'm hunkered down in the lab, bro, you know, and just
just building the craft, man, and just really diving deeper into the story. So I'm excited about it, man. You know, this is a crazy time. You're just telling me, you know, about your personal ties to what's happening, man, and just sending good energy to everyone out there affected by this, man, and just, you know, sending everyone just good energy, man. So.
Right. You, when it comes to like writing on the content that you're working on, all these things that you're preparing, are you the sole writer on these projects, or is there multiple writers? You bring in a team together, and if so, how has it changed? I'm assuming maybe before you left LA, you guys were getting together and working in a writer's room, trying to come up with ideas. If you were working with the team, is it difficult to work with people through the internet and through discussions like this, or do you find it pretty easy?
Yeah, so the Quibi show I'm writing by myself.
It's all you.
Yeah, it's on me.
Got it.
And what enables me to do that is the fact that it's short form, right? Mm-hmm. And so, 12 episodes, 10-minute episodes a piece. It's like writing a feature, essentially. If it was like a half-hour show, an hour-long show, there's no way, you know, I could write that alone. That would require a room. But this is one where I see the vision very, very clearly of what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to say through the story. And so I write it alone, you know, and of course there's notes from, there's notes from Quibi, there's notes from Gab, there's notes from Holly over at Gab's company. There's notes from, there's going to be notes from Dana Lynn North, who just attached herself to help me with development as well. So, the process, man, it's been great. A lot of calls, just a lot of notes being sent over, a lot of people tapping in, but it's all just to tell a better story, man. So I'm enjoying the process, man. I'm enjoying it. Once again, I'm just excited to make it, man.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be really excited about this show. So.
How has it been adjusting? Like, I mean, every month you're just climbing this ridiculous ladder, like, and it's escalated quickly, bro. Like, you're working with Gabrielle Union, all these legends and all these different people. How's it been working with them outside of like coming from, especially when in your podcast episodes, like we're talking about this grind of like very DIY, very limited support, but you and your squad and the people that fucked with your idea that you could contain and pay, obviously, but you brought all these people together. Now you're working with another level of this shit. And I know that you have more projects slated that you're not talking about, but how has it been adjusting to working on that level? You know, you instantly signed to an agency, coming out, and now you're repped. You know what I mean? It's just a whole nother ball game. Do you feel like you eased into it, or has it been kind of difficult adjusting to working on that level of, I don't know, pace, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's the transition's actually been very, very, I don't want to say easy. Nothing's easy, right? But I've really, really embraced the process and embraced the transition, embraced the change, you know. If anything, like, I think it's been so smooth because of where I come from, like shooting those low budget music videos when I was 18, and then eventually, shifting into my work as a cinematographer, where I have adequate support on set. There's a budget for the projects I'm doing, the commercials I'm doing. And so, but even still, cinematography is like a very, very like rigorous job. Like, there's so much involved in it, and there's so many different pieces. And so even now, like letting the camera go and just, becoming a writer, right? And just directing where I'm not touching the camera. It's like, if any, I mean, I really do think cinematography, like being a cinematographer, is the hardest job, one of the hardest jobs in the business. I mean, there's so much responsibility. Right. I mean, you're a cameraman, bro. I mean, there's just so many factors to think about. So yeah, man, I mean, the transition's been great. Gab has been so supportive. My team, my agency, my management have just been terrific. And so I really enjoyed it, and the support's there, and the support's great. So I would say the transition's been very smooth, bro. I really embraced the learning side of it too, man. Learning about deal making, learning about business at a higher level, now that I'm stepping into these roles, bro. So I know I'm meant to be here, bro, and there's always more to learn. You see what I'm saying? That takes pressure off, feeling like you got to know everything. You don't, what I mean? So I'm picking up the books, man, just like keep my head down and just doing the work and committing to the work. Continue just to water those seeds, man. So,
right. I feel like it's important to just always be listening. Like, if you can come in as a student, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to know all the tricks. You can just kind of be in it and absorb the tricks by just being there and being open to listening. I think that could also affect a lot of people who come in trying to, it's cool that you got in the room, and some people let that get to their heads, and then they fail because of that, because they try to come in with too much pride to act like they know everything. You know what I mean? And people can sniff that shit off you right away. You know what I mean?
That's so true, bro. Like, bro, literally, you just said it. That's the biggest thing you can feel like stepping in these rooms. You're there. It's just like, okay, young guy, you know, he's shifted into writing. Like, is he just gonna like try and like hold court and like dominate the conversation? But I've always been a listener. You know what I mean? Just somebody to really listen, and not just listen, just wait for my turn to talk, but somebody who's really absorbing like the knowledge and information. Listening is so valuable, bro. It's literally free information.
It is.
You just sit there and listen. Bro, that's so valuable. Like,
that's what this podcast is, man. I'm like, dog, people are crazy if they're not tuning into these episodes. There's so much to learn. You know what I mean? Like, I learn every time I talk to someone. I learn. It's like, it's the key. It's the most valuable university you could ever attend, is just listening to the people that have done something that you appreciate or would strive to be like. You know what I mean?
No, you're exactly right, man. I think it comes down to like being secure with yourself, because you're so right. It's like you get into these rooms, just remember, it's like, and you don't have to say it out loud. You know, it's all about being humble and just knowing within yourself. It's like, I belong here. Like, there's a reason I'm in this room, and that's enough. You know what I'm saying? You gotta prove yourself. You don't have to prove yourself or anything like that. It's like, I'm in this room for a reason. When I have something to say, I'm gonna say something, but I'm not gonna just take up airtime just to talk.
Right.
You know, I got something to say. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna stand my ground with what I say, but being willing to listen and be willing to let your idea grow and evolve. You know what I mean? And giving other people authorship within your idea. It's like, that's collaboration, bro. You see what I'm saying? It's not in a vacuum.
Right. No, I love that. What's for someone that's listening to this right now, you know what I mean, maybe they haven't had a chance to ever really truly dip into writing. I remember being, you know, when I thought I was going to be this Steven Spielberg or some shit, I didn't even really understand directors at the time. But back in the day when I was like, I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to be a filmmaker, I was going to Barnes & Noble ripping like script writing 101 books, you know what I mean? And if you're listening to this and you're interested in writing and tapping into that, maybe you've always held the camera, but you yourself have had ideas or stories you want to get on paper. What's some advice you could give to young writers who are interested in getting into maybe it's a hobby at first for them, but could potentially become a career for them? What advice?
No, that's a really good question, man. Pick up the books. Don't be afraid to do the work. 3 more things. Don't be afraid to write badly. Just write. Like, that's very, very important. It's like somebody very, very wise once told me, you write for the rewrite. And so get it all down, and then you're going to rewrite it. Just know that. But it's like, you know, when you get through that first pass, like, that's the canvas. You see what I'm saying? I never felt like the blank page is canvas. It's like, no. You get through it, and at that point, like, that's the canvas, that's the bones, and then you get through, and it's all about fine tuning. So write for the rewrite. Don't be afraid to write badly, and also study the work that you love. You see what I'm saying? Like, I always think of like the films I love. I'm always just reading the screenplay, and then you cross-reference and see, okay, like how did this screenplay, you know, get to the, like, how did this live on screen? You see what I'm saying? So you're looking at the script from a filmmaking perspective and just kind of, reverse engineering, like, what got to the screen. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I really feel like that's improved my skill set as I develop my craft as a writer. So just kind of cross comparing films I love with their screenplays. So.
Right. I love that. I remember I would always like, I think the script for Entourage, like the pilot episode, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I found both of those pilots, and I remember reading the pilot over and over again, and then like being interested in the direction. You know what I mean? You're like, all right, this character should sound like this, but how is it going to sound? And then when you compare it to the actual episode, you can see how it transcends to the actors, how the actors bring it to the screen, how the director is directing that. But it's interesting to try to figure out how to create voices on paper, and that's just one part of the art. You got to build a whole story on top of it and be able to really set scenes and craft that stuff. But I think it's really intimidating for a lot of people. But I love what you said, like being able to just spill your guts real quick, and then figure out how to kind of organize that and get it to make sense a little bit more, and rewrite is like the key to it. Is there anything that you do as like a practice, some sort of like writing practice that kind of puts, you know, maybe it's like, I'm going to try to tell a story only using past tense or anything like that?
That's a really, really dope question. So I keep like just notes on my phone. And if an idea comes to me, man, I just write it down. It ain't got to be pretty, but it's like just really writing those creative waves where it just comes in just spurts, man. You ever get? Do you do any writing at all, bro?
I used to a lot more in the past, but I mean, not as much now. I mean, I do write some different things on paper, but it's just for like, maybe I'll use it later. Usually if it's like music video or commercial content, I'm like building the backstory for that.
Yeah. So like materials like that, it ain't even got to be like, you know, like traditional screenplays, but whatever it is, a treatment.
Right.
And these ideas just come to you and they just flow. It's just like getting those ideas down. Like, so that's something that I do all the time, man. It could be whatever. I just write it, you know, it could be my day and, you know, something I saw, a conversation that I had that was really inspiring or really funny. I'll just write it down and it finds its way to the material.
Right.
I will say that something that's really, really helpful, man, is just really learning how to outline and committing yourself to the outline part of the process. That's something that's very, very important. And everybody's different, man. It's like there's an idea I had, and all I had was like a log line and, you know, 3 basic characters of the film. And I skipped the outline, and because I was like, I'm gonna save this project. Like, it's deeper down my slate. I'm just gonna hold off. And one day, bro, I went to a coffee shop and it just gushed out, and I wrote 60 pages in like 3 days.
Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. I've never like been hit with that wave like that. And I just kept writing. And like the story was just evolving, man. It was so organic and so beautiful. So I'm like halfway through the script plan. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to write out my treatment for this. And so I'm super, super close to being done with my treatment. And, you know, we're going to take that out and I'm going to go back and then once again, rewrite like the first half of the film and then finish it. So it's always different. The biggest thing is just do it. Show up, open up your laptop, open up Final Draft, open up your notes and just write.
Is Final Draft your go-to software for writing scripts?
Yeah, I use Final Draft, man. It's great. It is. I'll be real with you. I might have told you this offline, but like that's another thing. You know, when I signed as a writer director, like I didn't know how to use Final Draft at all.
Are you serious?
No.
No, you never told me that. So how would you write? You would just do docs and like bullshit, like kind of mimic it?
Bro, it was so ugly, dude.
That sounds so time consuming.
It was so bad, bro. It was so bad. Like the script for like Room Tone Fam and Bel Air, like I wrote a script for like that entire trailer. I just beat it out in like pages, like Apple pages.
Wow, that's funny as hell to me, but it feels so good. Like when you watch it, it feels really, really good for being some of the first projects you took on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you, man. I mean, and granted, a lot of that was just like my experience as a filmmaker, but in terms like that's what really carried it.
Right.
But now it's like, it's fun, you know, it's been really fun over this past year of just getting grassroots, and it only took like 2 days to really learn Final Draft, and then it's like, oh, okay, and it just flows. But
that's really funny to me, dog. For people who don't know, Final Draft is an amazing software for screenwriting. Like it solves a lot of problems. It has a lot of shortcuts and things that'll save you time from having to like redo your structure in like a Google Doc or something. That highly suggest that shit. Man, that is nuts. That is nuts. Outside of this, bro, like what's the thing you're most excited for? I know you can't talk about these projects, but for you personally and your growth right now, it's like, I love that you are able to just be in Kansas City. Like you don't really need this industry. You've done all, like you said, you've laid all the groundwork down for you to be able to just kind of do your art now. Moving forward, like what's your plan, especially after this whole virus shit ends, but like where do you see yourself going outside of producing the Black Coffee Show and things like that? Where do you want to see yourself next? Yeah, man. I mean, I think my biggest goal over the next 10 years is to complete, you know, my current slate. You know, I've got 4 features that I want to make that I'm on fire for. Nice.
And so to complete those, complete these TV projects that I have, and at that point, become an ambassador. You know, I want to start opening up doors for new voices, you know, and, you know, kind of being a
facilitator, bro.
Yeah, facilitator. I want to continue to grow as a producer. I want to continue, you know, I want to open a studio. I want to do it all, bro. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, it's way bigger than, like, of course I love filmmaking and I love the craft, but like my vision is way bigger than this. You know, my goal is really to to usher in like the next generation of storytellers to where, you know, I'm 40, 50, 60 years old. And, you know, I have these proteges who are making incredible art. My hope is that they do the same thing. And, you know, they're taking it upon themselves to open up doors for other people. It's like, you know, when you get up in the elevator, it's like you got to send it down, you know, make sure other people are able to come up. You know, Absolutely. It's bigger than just me. So like that's why it's kind of difficult to explain, because the vision is really, really big. But it all involves like uplifting other people and giving other people opportunities who wouldn't have them.
I love that, man. That's amazing. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see where it goes. And obviously you got to give Black with No Cream like maybe an early screener party for the first feature, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I got you.
We'll do a little collab right there. No, that's amazing, dude. You're gonna crush this shit though. Like for real, there's something different about you, man. And anyone that's listening to this, if you haven't heard his interview, like please go listen to Black with No Cream interview. All the links and all that shit are gonna be in the bio. But you just got you're just a genuine dude, you know what I mean? And that shit goes a long way. So I appreciate everything you do for the community, obviously, and the filmmaking space for sure.
No doubt, bro. And I feel the same. The feeling is mutual, bro. Thank you for all you do, man. You're inspiring so many, dude. And so I always love chopping with you, man. I'm glad you're doing well, and look forward to connecting again very soon, fam.
Thank you, bro. All right. That's it. That concludes the first edition of the Quarantine and Chill podcast. Hopefully you like it. Quarantine and chill makes sense. We should all be quarantining because we don't want to add to the problem. You should be chilling because what else are you going to do? And also this podcast is something that you can consider an educational piece. So hopefully you're taking notes because there's a lot to gain from there. Make sure to follow all of our guests. Links and all that stuff is in the bio. But what I want to talk about first is we're having a big live stream on Friday. We've been pre-planning it right now. We're in the middle of getting all the flyers and the promo material, but you guys will probably be the first ones to find out about this. Friday, March 27th at noon Pacific time. We're doing a 4-hour stream. We're calling it the Justin Bieber Changes the Movement series. We're bringing you behind the scenes with the people that are behind the lens. So we're bringing on the director, Nick DeMora, Andrew Sandler, the producer, Taylor Randall, director of photography, Francesca, I'm going to fucking botch her name. I'm going to wait till I ask her how to say her last name, but she likes to go by Frenchie. She's a set designer. So we're bringing all 4 of them on to discuss the process of how they went about it, but also to give you a chance to do a live Q&A. You'll be able to tap in via video and talk to them. We did this last month with Kavika, and it was amazing on via Intro to VFX. So we're hoping to really make this something that kind of comes out monthly with Black with No Cream. So if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in the bio of this video or on this podcast. Make sure to register now to save your seat. It's going to be a big one, really big one. That's it. Cool. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy. Thank all the grocery store workers and the healthcare workers if you're running into them for working on your behalf, on our behalf, and making sure we're taking care of people. And just be a fucking good person and just listen to whatever the government's saying right now, because we don't fucking know what's going on. But it does make sense to just quarantine and chill. All right, cool. That's it. Love y'all. Bye.